What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video. And today we have information about the upcoming medal exchange. Lineup information is going to be altered, where we can now go ahead and have a look at what's going to be coming for July 2022 in the medal exchange. Let's go ahead and jump into it, give my thoughts and opinions about all these characters. And there are once again seasonal characters coming back, which you can purchase for 100 medals each. And these characters here, you'll see in just a moment here, these ones right at the bottom, these are the seasonal characters they've decided to go with this time around. And a lot of these characters are pretty bad, we'll go through them in just a moment, but there are still a couple of really decent characters you may want to pick up. And just interesting to note, as soon as I saw this, it was kind of interesting because this could lead into potentially what's coming throughout the month, because we do know that there should be some summer related stuff coming soon, because it is summer in Japan right now. So there's a good opportunity for them to actually release a new summer batch, maybe at the end of the month, maybe throughout the month. We'll have to wait and see. And all of these characters being the seasonal characters in this month makes a lot of sense. So let's start off with these seasonal characters with Baby 5. A lot of these characters, as I said, are pretty bad. Special ability will heal a moderate amount of HP and then make bomb slots beneficial for 4 turns. Pretty unique effect, but I've had this character pretty much since the release of this unit, and I've never really used her in content, maybe once. So don't really think it's worth the medals for that unit. We have Boa Hancock. Remember, these are the unevolved versions, of course, but Boa Hancock provides a bit of healing and gives you a 2.5 chain lock for 1 turn. Again, these are pretty old characters at this point, so they're not really going to see too much play. Next, we have Koala, and she reduces Bind, Despair, and Special Bind all by 3 turns. I believe she does have a crewmate ability. Maybe she doesn't. I don't think she has the crewmate ability, actually. Yeah, well, that's weird. Yeah, this character's probably really bad. But then we get to these 2 characters right near the end. We have Rebecca. That artwork goes crazy, by the way. Look at this special ability, reducing threshold by 5, 1.75 times attack boost to Striker and Slasher, and if the captain is Striker or Slasher, reduce increased damage taken and recovery down by 3 turns. So this special is definitely a lot better than the ones that we just talked about previously. Threshold and the attack boost is mainly why you'd be using this character. I think this character is not a bad pickup. I'm personally going to get this character because I actually don't own this Rebecca. I believe she initially debuted as maybe not a treasure map character, but like a really crazy old school limited time unit. And then we have Pudding, the Bikini Pudding, which I do personally own, and this unit's really good. Get healing, attack down reduction, resilience reduction, and adjacent slots matching. Very useful effect, cerebral driven, interesting class combination. So I think Rebecca and Pudding are actually pretty decent pickups because they've got like somewhat decent utility. And for that reason, they're not bad, but remember, they're only 100 medals each, so it's more accessible than some of the SUGO Fest exclusives. But speaking of the SUGO Fest exclusives, we have the 150 medal tier, where you can purchase 3 of these each, and unfortunately, there's not that many characters. I was really hoping they were going to put more characters in here, and considering level limit break is a big thing now, I would have loved to have seen them add more characters to these tiers, but here we are. We've only got 2 characters worth 150 medals. The first one is Blackbeard. I think this character is terrible, though that is saying that he doesn't have a level limit break right now. With a level limit break, I think this Blackbeard could definitely cause some crazy things to happen. He has the really cool effect in his captain ability to bypass defensive effects with normal attacks, so long as you have a fighter, slasher, striker, and a shooter in your crew. So if you're able to fulfill that condition, he's got a great captain ability, but the problem in and of itself is that it's such a low multiplier. I believe he does get a buffed captain ability, which, you know, obviously increases the multiplier, but it's not that great. And he does have a super evolution as well. Special ability is just a 30% health cut with the super evolution, though. I believe it also gets rid of block slots or changes them into matching, but that's basically it. He doesn't really do a lot. Unfortunately, this Blackbeard, not that powerful in my opinion. And then we have Big Mom, who is not the best either. Even on release, this character was widely considered to be kind of mediocre. There are some kind of niche uses where you can kind of use her special ability to provide a big boost for herself only. But, I mean, this is a pretty terrible unit. And again, this is saying Big Mom doesn't have a level limit break right now. With a level limit break, yeah, she could get a lot of really cool things going her way. But just the overall design of these 2 units worth 150 medals, not that great, so probably would avoid these ones this time around. But then when we bump it up to the 250 medal tier, we've got one character in particular that is interesting. We'll talk about him in a moment. First character though is Mihawk. Mihawk, again, is another character that really isn't that good. This unit is a chain captain where, you know, he's so focused around the chain multiplier growth rate and has a really small attack boost. Not really that good. I mean, on release, he was kind of interesting, but he's just not that good. He has an orb boosting effect. He has a super evolution, which makes him a little bit better. No level limit break. No buffed captain via limit break expansion to my knowledge. I really wouldn't suggest picking up the Mihawk for 250 medals. It's just not worth it in my opinion. Even with a level limit break, because he is a chain captain, he's so focused on getting your chain multiplier. Those characters have never really been the top tier. I'd say the only time that a chain captain has been like the best unit or nearing the best unit in the game was when V1 Rayleigh first debuted. Okay, no other chain captain has really gotten to that echelon, right? Chain captains are just not where it's at. So unless if his special ability gets super cracked with a level limit break, we'll definitely avoid it. But then we look at the other character here, Whitebeard, Edward Newgate. This Whitebeard is really strong, and if you guys have got access to the Super Tandem Kaido that came out during the anniversary, you definitely want this character. This character has a lot of good things going for him, and he does have a super evolution, which does change him in a couple ways, and he does have a limit break expanded captain effect as well. No level limit break for this character yet either. If this guy ever gets a level limit break, he's going to be insane because he has such a good effect. I mean, this is just his base captain without the super evolution and without the level limit break captain. I mean, more cooldown reduction, and then goes up to a maximum of 4.5 times attack when you're at 1 HP, has damage reduction in his captain effect as well, and then his special ability, damage dealing special, chain boost, attack boost, damage reduction, despair removal, and then when you super evolve him, he gets way better. Just as a unit, this unit is very good, and as I said, you know, with the super evolution, he becomes better. I think for 250 medals, especially if you do not own him, you need to get him. I think that is a bargain pickup, and especially if you have Kaido, this character works perfectly with that character, as both classes of Whitebeard and Kaido synergize perfectly. So now that we've done all that, let's go ahead and have a look at what we have for 400 medals. You can only purchase one of these characters for the entire month. First one we have is Basil Hawkins. Now, even on release, a lot of people really didn't like this guy. I actually kind of come around to him a little bit more. I mean, his captain ability is still pretty bad, but the special ability is interesting, at least. Again, this is a character that doesn't really have a lot of buffs currently. No level limit break, no super evolution. So this guy has a little bit of room to grow. So currently, not that good, and I really wouldn't suggest spending 400 medals for Basil Hawkins, but the option is there if you don't have him. But then we've got Luffy and Sanji, and I think a lot of people already know how usable this character currently is. Obviously a rainbow captain, up to 5 times attack in their dual form. Their solo forms are a lot weaker though. This was before that time where dual units got amazing single captains. So their single captains are actually pretty bad. What does it go up to? 4 times when you've got full HP, 3.5 otherwise, and then Sanji's 3.75. Yeah, so it's definitely on the weaker end kind of thing. But the special ability, it's okay. You know, all slots including block into recovery, getting you an attack boost, 2x to all characters, but if you're at full HP when you launch the special, it's a 2.5 times attack boost. And the switch effect is probably the best component of the character, getting rid of bind, despair, and paralysis all by 1 turn for the whole team and make recovery slots beneficial. So that switch effect is good, but you know, this character doesn't really see that much play, unfortunately. Another really good component of the character is the fact that it's both a Luffy and a Sanji character, so you get access to a wide variety of supports, which is pretty good. This character is not very good in Pirate Rumble either, so honestly, I don't really think it's worth picking up this character for 400 medals. I know a lot of people love Luffy and Sanji, but I'm not one of those guys. I'm not a big fan of this character overall. Really weird design choices for this guy. So the next character on the list is going to be Kaido. This is the super type Kaido, and this character is a little bit polarizing in the fact that when he first came out, I think a lot of people really liked him and his design was kind of interesting, but as time has progressed, definitely been power crept for sure, but I still really like using this Kaido. I mean, you get the full board of matching slots and increased damage taken, 2 times increased damage taken inflicted to the enemy, though you have to be careful because if they have immunity to it all, then you don't get the effect. So that is a little bit of a downside to the character. And his captain ability is not bad. It's a quick 4.5 and it's 5 times during the turns his special has been activated. And whenever you take 10,000 damage, he automatically launches his special in the following turn. Also, can't disregard a 1.5 times health boost. This unit is still usable in a lot of content. You can still use him and build really interesting quick teams with this guy. And of course, you can't go past his Pirate Rumble abilities. He's one of the best characters to use in Pirate Rumble, a very self-sufficient passive, and then a special ability on a very low CT that does defense down. He hits really hard, he can paralyze them. Kaido is one of the best Rumble units in the game, and I think you should probably look at him from that perspective, is that if you're building a quick team in Rumble and you don't have Kaido, you definitely need to pick him up. But in regular content, it's really up to your discretion because he's okay, but not really used too often. And then the final character worth 400 medals is Rob Lucci, also with the super type. And Rob Lucci is actually really good on paper, but it's a little bit unfortunate because not a lot of people actually use Rob Lucci for content. But when you actually look at his abilities, you kind of realize, damn, this guy's really good. So you got like 5x boost, Dex, Powerhouse, and Fighter, 1.5 health, greatly boost chances of landing on their own type slot, heal every time you hit a perfect. Like, as a captain, that's very good. That's a really good captain ability. And then special ability completely removes blue shield, does damage to all enemies, and then is a 2.5 orb boost to Dex, Powerhouse, and Fighter, and a 1000 base attack boost. This is not a bad character. I can't remember exactly what his super type does, but he's good. And then even in Rumble as well, if you're using a Dex offensive team in Rumble and you don't have characters like 8th Anniversary Luffy or CatDog and you still want to focus on building a Dex offensive team, this guy isn't that bad. This guy is basically like a Dex version of the super type Kaido that we just talked about, in terms of he does defense down, then he does his damage, and very similar CT as well to the Kaido. So I think that Lucci is still a decent option overall, good in Rumble, good in regular content if you're building a Dex, Powerhouse, or Fighter-based team, but I just don't think that Luffy, Sanji, and Hawkins are worthwhile pickups. So overall, I would say this is a pretty underwhelming SUGO medal exchange month. I mean, I think that Rebecca and Pudding down the bottom for 100 medals, I think they're kind of worthwhile because the utility is kind of unique, and then you've got Blackbeard and Big Mom. I probably wouldn't suggest picking them up unless if you're really close to getting them to max level limit break, because when they do receive level limit break, they're obviously going to be better. Then you've got like Whitebeard and Mihawk. I really wouldn't suggest picking up Mihawk, but Whitebeard, definitely pick him up if you don't have him. He's going to be a great addition to your account. And then for the 400 medal characters, like I don't think Hawkins and Luffy Sanji are that powerful. I think Kaido's very good in regular content, but very, very powerful in Pirate Rumble. And I think Dex Lucci is just an overall good unit in a lot of scenarios. So it is really up to your discretion whether you want to pick up these 400 medal tier characters or not. But I think Whitebeard is probably the best value for what you get. Whitebeard is just a really, really strong unit overall. So unfortunately, a little bit underwhelming, but hopefully next month we get some more powerful characters. I assume maybe movie characters might return for, you know, the month of August, considering Film Red is going to be debuting. So that's going to be my assumption moving into August of 2022. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.